Hello AP Biology students, let's go over the 8th section in Unit 6. And in this section, we're going to start talking about things called mutations. Now we talked a little bit about mutations when we talked about cancer, but we're going to be talking about mutations in the sense of what they do to protein structure. Remember that a gene mutation is a permanent change in the sequence of bases we find in DNA. And typically, germline mutations are ones that are passed from parent to offspring. So you receive DNA from your parents, half from your mother and half from your father. But sometimes when you receive this DNA, it has a mutation or a change in that sequence that the parent had. These are called spontaneous mutations, which can randomly happen when replication occurs. Replication isn't perfect, but even if it's just 1 out of a billion nucleotides, it's still a change in that DNA sequence. And if we think about it, this is actually kind of an okay thing because we want genetic diversity in our populations. So there is almost a reason why our proofreading mechanisms within replication aren't perfect. The other type of mutation is called an induced mutation. This is caused by things called mutagens. These are things like chemicals or radiation that cause DNA to change. Now remember back from our last section, we talked about how the protein structure is determined by the DNA sequence. If you change the DNA sequence, you are in turn going to change the protein. That's because you are changing or could change the amino acid sequence. So when you change the structure of a protein, you're going to change its function. You can see here in our diagram a normal gene producing a normal protein. However, when you mutate a gene, you're going to produce maybe an abnormal protein or no protein at all. The two main types of mutations we're going to cover in this part of the unit are point mutations and chromosome mutations. A point mutation is when a single nucleotide in the DNA is changed. You can see here A in the sequence is changed to a G, which means this is a point mutation. It's one single nucleotide. There are a bunch of different types of point mutations and their effects on proteins that we're going to cover in the next section. We also have something called chromosomal mutations. This is when a part or a whole chromosome is mutated or changed. And as you can see, there are 5 main types we're going to cover in 6.10.